Sup y'all, Manny here, and today is May 3rd, 2022. Now, can you believe that 20 years ago, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out? Yeah, it's freaking nuts. It's been that long. Bro, when I tell you I was hyped for this movie, I was hyped. Like, I saw this movie twice in theaters back then, in 2002 when I was in 8th grade with no job. So that was very rare that I would go to theaters twice to see the same movie. That's how much I enjoyed Spider-Man. But that was 20 years ago. And with so many Spider-Man movies out now, including the awesome Spider-Man No Way Home, how does this classic hold up today? Fun fact, the first Blu-ray I ever bought was this right here, the Spider-Man movie collection that comes with all 3 Spider-Man movies. And you know, I had to rebuy this again on 4K. It comes in this little, it's not a steel book, it's like an actual book. It's pretty cool and whatnot. Anyways, let's party like it's 2002 and talk about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
On May 3rd, the entire world will connect to the web. Man, I love that commercial. Back in 2001, I went to see Jurassic Park 3. We got there late and we missed the trailer, so I really regret that because I missed the trailer to Spider-Man where he stops a bank robbery by trapping the bank robbers between the Twin Towers. My friends were telling me if I saw it when I went to see Jurassic Park 3 and I was like, wait, what? What? Back then, for me at least, I didn't have access to the internet like that, so I never got to see that trailer until many years later on YouTube. And that scene in particular got deleted because, well, we all know what happened on September 2001. So yeah, I was starving for any information I could get on the new Spider-Man movie. I would tune into MTV to catch anything that has to do with Spider-Man, from the making of that music video with Sum 41, to the commercials, to all the merchandising they did, the toys, the PS2 video game, which I got as a gift, and I didn't even have a PS2 at the time until December of 2002. Like I said, I was so freaking hyped for this movie. I didn't get to see it on May 3rd, but I got to see it on May 4th, and my god, the wait time between May 3rd to 4th was freaking torturous. But man, when I got in that theater and I saw it for the first time, oh my god, I loved it. It was my favorite movie of all time at the time. I even did this little film with the action figures on my VHS camera. Jesus, it's not that good, but you know what? I give myself credit for having a big imagination and trying to, do something creative here. But yes, that's how much I love Spider-Man. But enough about that. Let's talk about how this movie stands up today. Since there's like a million reviews on this movie already, I am not going to go detail for detail. There's a few things I was going to talk about, but the other reviews already touched on, which honestly I don't feel like touching on anyway. So yeah, I'm only going to talk about the parts that really stood out to me and stuff I noticed this time around that I probably didn't notice, my first watching or whatever, because it's been a long time I've seen this movie. So yeah, that's how I'm going to do this review. And just in case, here's your spoiler warning. You've been warned. My god, that is a long opening credit sequence. Holy crap. I remember the first time watching that, just sitting there like, oh my goodness, can we start this movie already? I've been waiting so long already. Come on, start the damn movie. It feels like almost 10 minutes. It's like a 10-minute opening sequence. Jesus. This is probably like 2 minutes. I haven't timed it out. What eases the pain here is that Danny Elfman's Spider-Man score is really good. Like, I love it. Ever since I first heard it, it's just iconic. I love it. And in case you didn't know, this movie is directed by Sam Raimi, who directed the Evil Dead movies. And most recently, he directed Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Tobey Maguire plays Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. I'm a little iffy on him, because sometimes here his delivery is very flat. I think that's the point, but I don't know, his performance, at least in this first one, wasn't the best. There's just moments where he's just very monotone and flat. He's like, hey, how you doing? Yeah. Maybe that was the point, but I don't know. I noticed that this time it wasn't that great. Kirsten Dunst plays Mary Jane Watson. And I think she does a pretty good job with the script she's given. If you don't like her character, then that's the script. And also, of all 3 movies, she looks the best here. She's pretty hot. Not saying she doesn't look good in the other movies, but here she's just like, I don't know, very beautiful. Definitely had a bit of a mini crush on her back then, thanks to this movie.
Some spiders change colors to blend into their environment. It's a defense mechanism.
Oh my god, is this a Miles Morales reference? Because, he could turn invisible and stuff. Let's just look that up. Let's look it up. Oh, I guess not. False alarm. Sorry, guys. Another thing here that I caught when I had this on DVD, when Peter Parker is fighting Deathstroke here. Pay attention to the nerdy kid in the back here. He's shocked, confused, possibly horny. He's like just a range of emotions here. It's just so funny. Then we got the fight here with Spider-Man and Macho Man Randy Savage, aka Bonesaw, who puts Spider-Man over. It's a fun, great scene that has aged very well.
That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?
After this wrestling match, Spider-Man gets screwed over here and doesn't get paid the money he was promised for beating Bonesaw. So when the promoter gets robbed, technically Peter follows Uncle Ben's advice.
But just because you can beat him up doesn't give you the right to.
Oops.
Now I want to skip ahead to the World Unity Festival, brought to you by the biggest supplier to the US military, Oscorp.
Oscorp Industries has surpassed Quest Aerospace as the principal supplier to the United States military.
Uniting the world, one bomb at a time. I think the irony there was done on purpose. Now let's skip to this scene here where Green Goblin goes after J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons, who is still playing it today, and I am so glad he is. Though I really wish they would have given him the wig back. Like, what's up with that? Anyway, this part right here, me and my younger brother will always make jokes about how the smoke should have blown back to Green Goblin's face. And it would be so hilarious if the Green Goblin just falls asleep and he's attached to the glider, right? So he just falls back, he breaks his ankles, he wakes up, starts yelling in pain, and the jet just starts flying. He crashes to the rest of the freaking Daily Bugle. It's a robot chicken sketch. It's hilarious. Now this right here was the first scene I ever saw of Spider-Man, and I was like, holy crap. Oh my god, there's blood. Awesome. It was like a random preview I caught on MTV. I don't know. Anyway, this time it really stood out to me how Harry Osborn has some big daddy issues. Like the whole movie, he's trying to impress his dad, Norman Osborn here, and he's just not getting it. He's more into Peter than he is to him, which that I knew, but I just didn't see the pain that he was going through. James Franco did a really good job here. But damn, this whole Thanksgiving there just got ruined. There's no recovering from this. Aunt May and Peter is gonna sit there eating turkey with their feelings hurt. Speaking of Aunt May, who's played by Rosemary Harris, I remember the first time I saw this scene, I felt the tension. I was like, oh no, Aunt May, no! But my younger brother and my younger cousin were laughing their ass off. And I'm like, what the hell? No, this is serious. And now, thanks to the internet, I find out that the majority of people that saw this scene thought it was hilarious too. So I'm like, damn, I was really invested in this movie. I did not see that as a laughing matter. Like, I was really worried for her. Green Goblin's gonna f***ing kill Aunt May. Dicks. You're all dicks for laughing at her. Then in this part right here.
Dad, is that you?
Norman Osborn is doing a lot of strange noises that Harry just completely ignores. Yeah, even if I was upset over MJ, like I would not have ignored that. Like, whoa, what was? We cannot continue our conversation until you explain what the hell you were doing up there. Were you like throwing up or something? Like, what happened? Now, this final battle between Spider-Man and Green Goblin was intense. I remember, like, nobody was laughing him down. That was pretty brutal. In fact, I remember in the theater, I could have sworn that when Spider-Man got punched here, he spit out a lot of blood. Like, that wasn't spit, that was blood. I then read that originally it was supposed to be blood, but then the PG-13 rating was gonna be bumped up, so they had to like change it to clear. But yeah, in the first viewing of this movie, I remember that was red. It was just me, or if you saw blood coming out of his mouth when you first saw this in theaters, write a comment below. Because if not, I have a Mandela effect going on here. But yeah, Green Goblin beat the out of Spider-Man here. Holy crap. I love it. It's one of my favorite fighting scenes. Now the ending here where MJ confesses her love for Peter Parker here, I don't buy it. Her dialogue here was just too much. She was up there on that bridge about to die, and the only person she could think of was Peter Parker? Like, they should have developed this a little bit better. Like, yes, they got good chemistry and stuff, and I believe she really likes him. But falling that deeply in love? Like, oh my god, I love you so much. I love you so much. No. That wasn't earned. Honestly, they should have made them friends since they were little kids. Following the movie here, they did not talk to each other until he threw away the trash, so they have no prior engagements before that. At least that's what the movie established. So I cannot believe that she felt that deeply in love with Peter Parker like that. I guess you could argue for it. You could do it down in the comments below, but I don't buy it. And that's Spider-Man 2002, with everything that stood out to me in 2022. This time around, Tobey Maguire's performance did not hit so good. He's very flat at times, and again, that might have been the point, because he's a shy teenager, nerdy, but come on, a little more feeling with it. The Green Goblin mask still sucks. Like, I don't know what they did there. The original concept that they had was freaking great. It did look pretty scary, especially for like a younger viewer. Like, it did look creepy. My issue with that would have been like, how do you explain that? Like, he took the chemical X and he turns the Green Goblin, and now where does the face mask come from? Like, did somebody build it? Does he transform into that? So I think maybe that's why they also dropped it, because how would you explain that? I don't know. But then again, how do you explain that mask that he has already there? Like, is Oscorp making scary masks for the military? Like, what? Other than that, the movie is still a lot of fun. I still enjoyed it, and it just, you know, it takes me back to 2002. So yeah, there's some nostalgia there, but on its own, it's still a great movie. There was a lot of tender love and care put into this. Like, Sam Raimi is actual Spider-Man fan. As for the 4K copy of Spider-Man 2002, it looks pretty grainy, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know it was shot on film, obviously, but there's been smoother, you know, transfers for 4K on this. So if you have it on Blu-ray already, it honestly is not that much of a difference. You don't have to rush out and get it on 4K unless, you know, you don't have it on any format. Then yeah, sure, go for the 4K version. But if not, if you're with the Blu-ray version, you can stick with that. I like film grain to an extent if it's done a certain way. It's hard to explain, but this one's just really grainy. Obviously, sit back and see it, but if you get closer, then the grain is like very noticeable. It looks like, yeah, old and not so great. So with that, I'm gonna give Sam Raimi's Spider-Man an 8 out of 10.
And that was Spider-Man. Like, is this movie cheesy? Yes. Green Goblin's costume, the mask in particular, still looks like a Power Rangers ripoff, and this didn't work that well. But other than that, this movie did set the pace for superhero movies being good and making a lot of money, which I believe inspired the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. So if it wasn't for this movie, we probably wouldn't have that. So it's still enjoyable to this day. And if you were alive in 2002, you were young or a teenager, or just a fan of Spider-Man during that time, this being the first Spider-Man movie with him swinging around the city like that, like, what a time to be alive. Like, I cherish those memories. That was a great time in Spider-Man fandom. So yeah, it's still enjoyable to this day, despite its flaws. I think there are better Spider-Man movies now. I can't, like, Into the Spider-Verse and stuff like that, but still, this is enjoyable. Watch it again if you haven't watched it in a long time, and if you have never watched it, I recommend it. Anyways, with that, this has been a review of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Just 'Cause.